Hey.
Hi.
Welcome back, us. This is Viva Physical Media. My name's Emalie.
I'm Kevin.
And we are here at Scarecrow Video to talk to you about movies.
Yay, we're back.
We had a little vacay.
There was some vacay. How was your vacay?
My vacay was good. I went to Austin to do the very particular version of Fantastic Fest, to dip my toe in the water.
Yeah.
And it was great. I saw some good stuff, hung out with people, drank beers, ate barbecue.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's truly all I could ask for.
Right.
Who did you hang out with?
Not that guy behind the camera. Just kidding. Hung out with Rich. How was your vacay?
It was good. I skipped the because they changed stuff around, so I was like, eh. So I just took a staycation and it was great.
You went to Portland though.
I mean, I went to Portland for like a weekend.
That's not a staycation.
But I was off. I was off for like 10 days.
That must have been nice, huh?
Yeah. See something good at Fantastic Fest?
Yeah. I saw this really great movie called Hellbender, which I really enjoyed, by this family of filmmakers, husband and wife, and their 15-year-old daughter is really badass. I saw Verhoeven's new movie, which was good, but I don't think I loved it as much as a bunch of other people did.
Fair enough.
And this early 70s movie called Snakes, which Rich, you caught a bit of that too, huh?
I caught the second half.
So bizarro. Do we have that here?
Mm-hmm.
Do we?
I think so.
It's so much fun, you guys. You guys should check it out. The lead guy's name is Snakey. So that's all I'm gonna say. And then
Cool.
a bunch of crazy stuff happens.
I watched Love and Basketball because it just came out on Criterion, and it was great. And I realized, I was like, oh, there's like a lot of these like late 90s black cinema that I hadn't watched. So I watched Poetic Justice, which I'd never seen, with Janet Jackson and Tupac. John Singleton's
I feel like I've seen parts of that.
third movie, I think. It's good. It's very sweet. And I watched The Wood, which also stars it has the same 2 stars from Love and Basketball. And it's really good. I was like, this is really good. So
Cool. We both saw Titan.
Yeah.
I didn't see that in Austin. I saw a few days ago.
Yeah, I saw it down at the Hollywood Theater in Portland. Yeah, it's so good.
So good.
Everybody go see Titan. We're not going to say anything because Rich is behind the camera and he hasn't seen it yet. And if you are watching this and you haven't had it spoiled for you and you are thinking of going to see it, just don't go in cold.
Yeah, and try to see it in the theater, I think.
Definitely go see it in the theater if you can. I don't think it's showing on demand or anything anyway
No, it's not.
right now, but definitely it's totally like a sensory overload.
I hadn't even seen the trailer.
The
I'd seen
trailer-
like stills from it where she's dancing on the car.
Yeah.
That's it.
The trailer, like, essentially you go like, oh, okay, I don't know what this is about after you watch it, so.
Yeah. It's October, as you guys know, busy month around here.
Yeah.
Before we get to our major day, I have a minor day coming up. October 14th, I'm going to host another secret Twitch screening. So on that day, just look at our socials and then log into our Twitch. I don't know, log on to Twitch and find us. I'll be hosting a secret spooky movie. Hints. I'll give you the 90s as the decade.
Ooh.
Yeah, but not an obvious one. So join me. We can chat and watch and have fun.
Enjoy all those 1890s Malay shorts.
The 90s. Oh, I get it. Good one.
Yeah. And then 2 days later, we have our big day.
Yeah, Video Store Day. International Video Store Day, as someone in one of our Mailbag one time called it Scarecrow Day.
It's Scarecrow Day.
So we have Scarecrow Day on the 16th.
On Scarecrow Day, you guys are blessed with an all day long hosting from us.
Yep, we're doing another. We are going to have in-store sales, so we'll have 50% off all the used stuff. We're going to have sales in-store and online from a bunch of different companies: Kino, Shout Factory, Severin, Arrow.
We'll update you.
We'll update, yeah. So and also it's there'll be a link below, and there's a link to our website that has all the information on there about all the different things that are going on in store and Video Store Day. Also, we'll have another limited edition T-shirt designed by Will.
It looks so cool, you guys. And I'm really excited about this T-shirt.
Yeah, and they're backed up at the because like everything is, the supply chain is weird right now, and so the T-shirt place. So we're fingers crossed that these T-shirts will be ready. If it all went well, I put a picture of it up here just now.
And if they're not ready, they're going to be ready eventually. So just don't worry about it.
So those should be here on Video Store Day as well.
We're doing, we are going to be, on being filmed and stuff, but we're also doing like in-store stuff as well. Right. If you want to see what we're doing in store, just remember to bring your Vax card or a photo of it for this particular day, because it's going to be pretty busy and kind of chaotic. So we want to make sure everyone's safe, and of course mask up. We're going to have some live music, special guests.
Yeah, and if you do come in, come say hi, and we'll
bring your dog.
We'll bring your dog. We'll be probably asking, if you want, pop over and like
come on
get on the live stream and tell us how much you love Scarecrow Video, or tell us some of your favorite movies. Talk about Halloween movies. It's going to be a lot of spooky kind of themed stuff.
Yeah,
so,
tell us how you're doing on the Psycho Challenge.
Yeah,
if that's a thing. Today or roundabouts is our 1 year anniversary.
That's true.
You guys.
It was October. I think it was like last week, but anyway, it's around now. It's beginning of October, so
so
when
Viva
I put our
Physical
first
Media has been around for years worth of episodes to look back on and see how much we've grown, how much cooler we've gotten, how I have not ever worn the same outfit more than once. If you've been watching since the start, thank you so much. If you're a newbie, we said this at the other episode, but say hey in the comments. We love that. I saw some people say hey, so we see you. Let us know what other stuff you want to see from us.
Seriously, email us at viva@scarecrow.com. And thanks for sticking around and watching us every couple weeks. And check out our letterboxd list on there and watch. You want to catch up and watch all the awesome movies we recommend. They're all awesome, all of them great.
All of them great, no stinkers.
It's not
except
subjective.
For Millionaire Dogs.
They're all objectively good except for Millionaire Dogs and The Dogfather.
God, we can't go one episode without talking about The Dogfather.
Can you put that spaghetti eating scene in again real quick?
Please.
Here it is. Sorry.
We can't help it. It's part of who we are now.
You want to talk about the Psychotronic Challenge?
Let's do it.
The Scarecrow Video Psychotronic Challenge?
Yes.
Awesome.
5th or 6th year of doing the Psychotronic Challenge. Our coworker Jensen puts it together every year. It's awesome, the amount of detail and creativity he puts into this.
Yeah. It's up on our website. You can download a PDF.
Or if you're in our store, we have copies of this everywhere.
We have copies all over the place. But what it is a psychotronic room. If you know Scarecrow, we have a room called the Psychotronic Room, which is our horror, sci-fi,
fantasy,
what have you. Kind of genre, those kind of genres, and so it's not going by each section in here necessarily by the Psychotronic Room, but it is sort of based around the Psychotronic Room at Scarecrow, and Psychotronic is sort of catch-all for all that stuff. So,
and these are some really creative prompts to kind of help you figure out something maybe off the beaten path to watch. And we love seeing what you guys watch. If you post it on social media, be sure to use the hashtag SCV Psycho Challenge, Scarecrow Video Psycho Challenge. And, we'll retweet you and repost you and all that cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And if you ever need any recommendations on it, you can, email viva@scarecrow.com, come into the store, talk to someone behind the counter. So we wanted to just point out a few different prompts towards the end of the month and then give a couple of recommendations just for funsies.
So these will all be ones that are after
the 16th.
After the 16th, which is Video Store Day. So,
do you want me to go first?
What's yours? What's your first one?
My first one is day 19.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll go next.
Okay. Number 19 is Can't You Hear Me Knockin'? When you let an unexpected guest in, you may be in for a long night.
Ooh.
And so I chose two. From 2014, I chose Adam Wingard's The Guest. Nice. You may know the name from him recently doing the new Godzilla and King Kong movie, which I always forget what order the title goes in, so I just avoid it altogether. Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus Kong?
I can't remember.
Either way, they're fighting each other. And before that, he made a couple awesome movies, including The Guest, which has a fucking awesome score, neon lit, awesome, about this guy who shows up at this family's doorstep and says that he knew their son who was in the war and he was a good friend with him. Yeah. And basically they let him to his house and he's not who he says that he is. The other one I want to talk about is the 1977 movie Death Game by Peter Traynor. This was remade as Knock Knock with Keanu Reeves. Eli Roth did it. The original is a whole lot of fun. Yeah. These two girls show up at this rich dude's house after his wife left, and it's pouring down rain, and they're like, oh my God, let me use your phone. He lets them in because he's like, wow, these sexy girls. Turns out they won't fucking leave his house, and shit goes wild. So check that out if you can.
My one that I picked was day 20 then. Castlemania. Something that takes place in, where else? A castle. And I didn't think too hard on this one, and this is a movie if you've watched, I've recommended on here before, but I'm recommending it again. And it's one of my picks in the Halloween section right behind me here, and it's Stuart Gordon's Castle Freak, which I think is just awesome.
It's really cool.
It's as the title says. These people this guy inherits this old castle, and there is a monstrous freak that lives in there, and it gets pretty hardcore. It's pretty disgusting.
Freaky.
He's really freaky, and also there's some good storytelling with like what's going on with the family too. It's kind of moving at the end, while also being one of the more disgusting horror movies that I hadn't seen that I run across in the last few years.
We're accidentally going in like very one after the other order, but I'm doing. Did you say sorry?
Yeah.
Don't ever apologize to me.
Oh, well, okay. Never?
I mean, just don't start being mean. Okay, 21, Barn Howls. There are strange things afoot at the farm. Bonus points if you see a pumpkin patch. And so the first one I want to highlight is, of course, I don't know how to say his name. The last name is Mundra. Hack-a-Lantern, 1988.
Okay, yeah.
Which it takes place on Halloween, and it was a direct-to-video movie, and this kid sees his grandpa sacrifice the kid's dad, and then every year on Halloween, the grandpa gets really stoked on turning his grandson into a devil worshiper, and a lot of it takes place in this barn, and they're also preparing the town for this big Halloween dance. It's one of those movies where it's this town has a Halloween dance, which okay, if you're from a small town that has a Halloween dance, will you email us? Because I don't think it exists. But there's a lot of fall scenes and decorations and murders and Satan worshiping and grandpa who just loves pumpkins and Halloween, but also Satan. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Okay.
I actually saw a 35mm print of that.
Damn, that would be so fun. The next one I want to talk about that has a barn in it is The Ring. I just rewatched this with my sister. I showed my little sister this movie for the first time. This movie's been one of my favorites since it came out when I was 12 years old, by Gore Verbinski, set in Seattle. And the barn in question is on the Morgan Horse Farm. I still think it's one of the scariest PG-13 horror movies that I've ever seen, and it unnerves me to this day.
The next one I picked here was October 23rd, Department of Industry and Labor. Ooh. A story based on doing a job. Speaking of jobs, yours ain't finished yet. 8 days to go.
Damn.
So there's some teasing on here about how you gotta get stuff done.
We're fun.
The movie I picked for that one was Graveyard Shift, based on the Stephen King short story Graveyard Shift, which is essentially about these guys.
Is that the one about the rats?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about these guys who end up having to work the graveyard shift, and the rats that they find in there ain't your grandfather's rats, if you know what I mean. They're big. And you know what? Because I was talking about Stephen King, and there's another one but it's a workplace
Stephen
thing.
King loves workers. He's a union guy.
It's a workplace one, which is The Mangler. Which is better than you think.
Machine
yeah, it's a laundry machine. So that's all I'm gonna say. It's a killer laundry machine, and
that's a good one.
It diverges from the short story quite a bit. I think Graveyard Shift is pretty close to the short story. It's expanded, of course, but it's pretty close. It's hey, these guys are going down. The story's some guys go down into the sewers, and then there's massive rats, and they're ah shit, what do we do? That's
as you would, yeah.
Pretty basic. But The Mangler goes a little a little wilder with its storytelling, but it does involve this workplace where this press is like murdering people.
It's truly horrific. Factories, man.
Factories, yeah. So I'll do number 28, which is These Fists Break Bricks, in celebration of the excellent new book, which isn't out yet but does come out soon, all about the martial arts kung fu invasion in the 70s mostly. In celebration of the excellent new book, watch a martial arts movie. And so I, off the top of my head, I picked out two sort of psychotronic martial arts movies. So one, a classic that we all love around here, Boxer's Omen, which has these are both Shaw Brothers movies, and it has some martial arts. It is about a kickboxer, although towards the end it's mostly like wizard battles and stuff. But it's super gross, super cool. It's almost unclassifiable, sort of weird Hong Kong Shaw Brothers horror. And the other one is like this wild sort of, I guess it's almost sci-fi, but it's like not fantasy. Shaw Brothers fantasy one, Holy Flame of the Martial World, which is also awesome, which has a ton of great like just crazy magic kung fu plus like laser effects and stuff. So both of those are if you haven't seen either of those, check those out.
Okay, number 30, day 30, martini shot, blow off some challenge steam with a hearty party scene. So I didn't know we were going to bring these movies up earlier, but I wanted to take this moment to recommend both of Julie Dusarno, help me.
DeCorno.
Her movies Raw and Titan, because she knows how to direct a party scene. Like, let me tell you what.
That's true.
In both movies.
That's true. Raw, there was like, I remember leaving that and thinking like, there were more party scenes than I was expecting in this movie about a girl who goes to veterinary school.
And Titan also has a couple surprising party scenes.
It does.
Yeah. So I just wanted to shout her out and once again check her movies out. And yeah, those are some of our recommendations for the rest of the Psychotronic Challenge month. Like we kind of talked about on Video Store Day, we'll be going through some more, and you can always email us and we'll give you some recs.
For sure. But yeah, hopefully you're doing this at home. If you're not, it's not too late to jump in.
Jump in.
We're not
and
even
you don't
halfway
have to
through
do
the
them
month
in
yet.
order if you don't want to, but you probably should because of the hashtag. Respect the hashtag, you guys.
Respect the hashtag. Mailbag. I was trying to do a ghost thing.
Oh fuck! I would have gone spookier. If
Well,
I
mean,
known.
we're improvising it, Oh wow! Well, what?
Is that
all right.
weird?
It's kind of weird.
Cool.
We'll see what happens when we're on the
Let's do
outro. So hey, welcome to Mailbag. We have one mailbag today from Troy, who's written before. Hi, Troy. Troy says, "Hey guys, there's a chance I'll be making a trip to Seattle in a month, and if I'm there, of course I'll be dropping by," which prompts this question, which is several questions.
Love it. Love it.
What's it like to visit the store now? Is it pretty much like before, except everyone's wearing a mask? What are the logistical and/or vibe differences?
Love that.
Are there new features/sections in the store since early 2019? Maybe I'll see you soon. Do either of you work the front desk?
Troy,
Thanks, Troy.
I love that you asked about the vibe, the vibe check, and I appreciate it because I always want to know the vibe check too before I come into it.
So let's start with what's it like to visit the store now?
I think it's cool.
It's honestly pretty much the same as it was before. Masks are required, but otherwise pretty much the same. We're still just requiring masks and be cool. Welcome back.
There's some fresh paint on the shelves. Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome.
You
You might see some decorations.
I mean, yeah, because it's Halloween right now.
Yeah, but I don't know if in a month.
We might have the
still be
Christmas decorations up by the time you get here. Who knows?
Ooh, yeah.
It pretty much is like before, except
There's more
everyone's
movies.
wearing a mask.
There's more movies than in 2019.
We do have more movies. But yeah, as far as the vibe differences, not really. I mean,
No.
we've got this plastic barrier up on the front counter,
Still a good
that,
vibe though.
That might be a vibe different. It's different, but it's I think it's still good. And then as far as new sections in
We
the
have a
store,
handful.
we have quite a few, and instead of us trying to list them off and remember what new sections, I'm just going to do a quick montage of the new sections right now.
splash, j'ai sur mon lit à bouffer sa langue en buvant prends mon whisky quant à moi, peu dormi, vie débris, mais j'ai dû dormir dans la gouttière où j'ai eu un flash. En 4 couleurs. Allez hop, un matin, une louloute est venue chez moi, poupée de cellophane, cheveux chinois, un sparadrap, une gueule de bois, a bu ma bière dans un grand verre en caoutchouc.
And there you go. It was quite a few.
That was awesome.
We've gone over a few of them on this show, so you might have recognized some of those. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And otherwise it's kind of the same. I mean, besides us doing this show and the live streams and stuff.
There's some new people working you might see that you haven't seen before.
So that's a that's a different vibe.
Yeah. Do either of us work the front counter? I work the front counter, which you're just the normal counter. Every other Saturday, mostly. So if you're lucky, it'll be on one of those Saturdays that you come in.
And I work most of the week, and I can go out on the counter, but I have a little office tucked away in the corner.
He's usually in his
here,
bedroom.
So. As Emily calls it, my bedroom. There's no bed in there, but it's not uncomfortable.
Or if you show up on a Thursday right before we close, you may catch a glimpse of both of us getting ready to film one of our episodes.
That's true, yeah. And Rich behind the camera is also behind the counter most of the week too.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
So and I'm here all the time. So if you come in and say like I want to speak to Kevin maybe in a less demanding way than that. I'll come out of my little hole.
Yeah, I'm the only one that's not here that much, but always here in spirit and virtually.
And as always, if you want to send us an email, a message, any kind of a video, something.
Halloween costumes.
Halloween. Your dogs dressed as horror characters.
Or your cats. Or your cats, if you've had some good movie costumes in the past, we'll totally throw them up on the next show. If you need any recommendations. It's been a year since we started this, so if you are like, man, you guys used to do this one thing you don't do anymore, or I would love if you guys did this, we would love that feedback. Don't critique us, though. I don't want to hear that. We're doing great.
Viva,
maybe we'll read some on Video Store Day, too.
Oh, yeah. So if you send them before the 16th. Between now, whenever this comes out, and the 16th, then we'll get them on then. Viva@scarecrow.com is our email address.
Yes.
Our physical address is 5030 Roosevelt Way, Northeast.
If you want to send us gifts.
98105. If you want to send us gifts or you want to drop by and give us free beer.
Or just a hey.
Hi, how are you?
That's our mailbag.
That's it. That's our mailbag. Yeah, it was a light bag, but it was a good question.
Yeah.
Good questions. Thanks, Troy.
It was light in quantity, but heavy in quality.
Wow, I love it.
Mailbag.
Yeah, that was good.
That was fucking spooky as shit. We love movies.
We
We
do.
love books. Physical media is not just tapes, DVDs, Blu-rays, Laserdiscs. It is also a good old-fashioned page turner.
Right?
I told you I'm feeling on. I feel like we should have a fireplace behind us and robes and a pipe. But yeah, we're doing book club again. We've brought a couple books to talk about. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Cool.
My first book is actually a bunch of comic books.
You cheater.
It's a
Just
book.
kidding.
And it is not necessarily about movies, but it is the 2001 A Space Odyssey comic book series from the late 70s, mid to late 70s by the king of comics, Jack Kirby, who created all your favorite superheroes back in the day, Captain America, all those dudes, X-Men, Fantastic Four. And he also did the adaptation, which I don't have, but it's a big treasury edition, so a much bigger version of this, but he did the 2001 A Space Odyssey adaptation, which I would love to get my hands on, but it's really expensive to find.
You know our address, you guys, if you want to send Kevin a gift.
Someone has an extra copy of the Jack Kirby 2001 adaptation laying around, and they're and they love our show. You know a guy who would love to have that.
I think he deserves it.
This is not an adaptation of the movie. It's more of a continuation of sorts. Not really. It is
I know
like
how much
it's
you love
sort of.
reimaginings.
It's a little bit. I mean, it is a reimagining a little bit. You know, this is like it starts off with the caveman and the monolith, but each one of these kind of goes through a different person. You know, it's like this is the history of this person. Then it goes from this guy chucking the spear to this guy, with the spaceman. And it's like jumped ahead of time. Like in 2001, and then he's the space guy. And then at the end of the issues, they have become a lot of ads in here too.
When did this come out?
This was like 76.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, these were 76, and. At the end, it's like then this guy becomes, a space baby or a new seed, as they call them,
Space baby.
And starts goes flying through space, and like all of these all kind of follow that same plot where it's like here's this character from the past or way back in history, and then they become the new seed. It's totally different than like the movie. But it's Jack Kirby, and it's not superhero stuff at all, so it's really fun to read because it's just this wild, bold sci-fi stuff going on in here. And there's 10 issues of this series. I only have 7. After issue 7, it became just like 3 issues of introducing this character called Machine Man, who then went on to his own series, Machine Man. And those are...
It's not great.
Well, those are harder to find and more expensive because they're introducing a superhero character, so collectors want them, but I don't want them. So I've got all those 2001 comics that I want all through issue 7, except for that one. So again, if you're watching this and you happen to have a copy laying around, and you're like, this junk, mail it to you. I know someone who wants I know someone who wants your junk. It's me.
Well, I have something that kind of goes is along the same lines, comic book wise. I have the Tales from the Crypt official archives, complete history of EC Comics. Cool. And the hit television series. I think I picked this up at like a garage sale or something. I think it was just one of those really cool finds.
Yeah.
Half the book is basically the history of EC Comics, and of course I forget their names. You probably know them. I don't know. The guys who basically started the Tales from the Crypt comic books.
Well, it's a whole bunch of people, but William.
Well, there's two.
William Gaines
guys.
was the publisher.
Yes. Anyways, it goes through the history of what EC Comics used to be, which was very much kind of like fluffy, light, wholesome shit. And then once the son of Max
Gaines.
Yeah. Thank you. I knew you'd help me. Kind of took over. He was like, wait, let's get it more genre. So they did more like sci-fi, fantasy stuff, and then they were like, no one's doing horror stuff, and so that's where Tales from the Crypt and From the Vault and some other spin-offs like that came to be. And then it kind of tells how they kind of stopped being popular after the war, and then got popular again, and then became eventually adapted into made-for-TV movies in Britain, and then to the HBO show that we know today. And then it also...
Does it talk about the show in there, too?
Yeah.
Nice.
So basically the first half of the book is all comic stuff, and it even has a few stories in here. Issues, thank you. See, this is why we got the comic guy here. I don't know what I'm talking about. And... here, I bookmarked some. So yeah, it tells about the British adaptation, which is the Tales from the Crypt, made for TV, and then they also did a second one, which was Vault Horror.
Okay, the Vault of Horror was one of their other. The Vault of Horror was one of the other books that they had. Yeah,
so it tells about how that came to be, and then how later. There we go.
Yeah.
Later, they, created the Crypt Keeper, like the actual puppet and everything, and had HBO home box office network pick it up. And then how it was really awesome to get all these different celebrities on, and it was like the cool thing to do. It talks about the movies.
Well, one of the movies is great, and one of them is one of the worst movies ever.
That's true.
Demon Knight is awesome.
And Bordello of Blood
is unwatchable.
Yes. And then later on it works as a compendium to all of the episodes, which is really rad.
That's awesome.
It also goes into a lot of the effects, behind the scenes stuff, how they made like the intro to the show and like the miniature, moving through it and everything.
One of the best theme songs too. The Danny Elfman theme song.
The Danny Elfman.
Awesome.
It's Halloween. If you hear it, it's just like you get in the spooky fucking feeling, you
One of
know?
my favorite TV shows ever.
Check them out because it's really fun. It's also really fun to see like the celebrities. You don't know who's going to show up, whatever. And there's celebrities even like directed some, like Arnold Schwarzenegger
Schwarzenegger did one, yeah.
Tom Hanks did one, I think.
The people who were the executive producers were Zemeckis and
Walter
Hill, Joel Silver. Yeah.
So yeah, this is like really it's like an all-encompassing guide.
That's
Basically,
awesome.
It has the comic history, the comics, the movie adaptations, the TV,
Yeah.
and then I think even it shows like some of the toys and shit at the, and then a little Bill Gaines appreciation at the end.
Also started Mad Magazine.
Yeah, see this fucking guy. But yeah, it shows all of the like promo merch and stuff, which I think is really cool.
Because
Yeah.
there was a cartoon too, The Tales from the Crypt Keeper.
Yep, they made that a little
Saturday
more like
morning
lighthearted for children.
But like when I came on, I remember I'd already watched I'd been watching the episodes. My mom and I would watch them. It was syndicated at some point, and it was on so it was like some of the gore was taken out from the HBO ones.
Oh yeah, and the sex. There's so
some of the
much.
sex,
There's
too.
so much fucking in Tales from the Crypt.
Oh,
like
yeah.
to be honest, except for like the last 2 seasons, which I think were British, right? The last 2 seasons were back to Britain.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think they keyed down. It was off HBO, and they keyed down the sexuality a lot.
Okay.
But I remember when I rewatched these as an adult, being like, oh, I think I saw a lot of Tales from the Crypt when I was a kid. I was like, oh, I don't remember all these boobs, you know?
Well, because that was what
Because
it
was on,
It was cable TV, so they were kind of like, all right, this is it's like they got to deliver the goods, so it's got to be like violence and nudity,
The
'cause
goods.
that's what you can't get. That's what you couldn't get on regular TV.
Vitamin B.
Vitamin B is vitamin B, vitamin boobs or vitamin blood?
Can it be
It could
both
be
and butts?
vitamin both.
It's really cool if you're a fan of the show. If you're not a fan of the show, you will be if you give it a shot this Halloween season.
Check it out.
I love this because it's like show and tell.
But we also, I know, right? But we also have it for sale in the store. So if you come in the store and you want to pick up one of these, we have these copies of these for sale. And I haven't had a chance to go through all this, but it's The Bleeding Skull, a 1990s trash horror odyssey. And this is
I need to pick this up.
a sequel of sorts. This is a second book to their other Bleeding Skull book, which was about the 1980s trash horror movies.
Yes.
A lot of the stuff in here is like SOV, shot on video stuff. And I was flipping through this, and again, like I haven't read all of these, but it's Joe Ziemba, Annie Choi, and Zach Carlson. They wrote all the reviews for these, and it's just a capsule reviews of just a ton of wild, weird, and good, great, and bad and abysmal, psychotronic and horror stuff. And like I said, a lot of it's like shot on video, a lot of it's like DIY kind of stuff. And so, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly of that kind of stuff. But even the bad is kind of worth finding.
It's all
like,
fascinating.
What am I looking at? You know?
It's all fascinating.
And so there's some cool ones. I didn't earmark any of the ones that I'd seen in here, but I just recommend. They have a website where they talk about this stuff, and they put out some movies of their own, and they're doing good work, and it's a great for this time of year because it's a ton of stuff that is like way under anybody's radar. This is not stuff that you're going to think about.
Follow them on Instagram because they post a lot of cool shit too.
Yes, absolutely. They post stuff on Instagram all the time, and you're going to find just a ton of good recommendations. But you'll find a ton of good recommendations just looking through this book. Like I'm just flipping through it now. And
I'm watching you flip through it, and I'm already getting
these,
recommendations.
I think I've seen Burning Moon. Did we watch that, Rich? Okay, yeah.
There's some Chilly Night movies in there.
Oh, that's a really fucked up German one, right? Okay, yeah. Yikes. I don't know that I'm going to go through it, movie. There are some in here that I've seen that I don't like. I like Alien Beasts. What's the one with the hallway shuffler? I don't know if that's in here.
Science Craze?
Yeah, let's see. Oh, here it is. Yeah, Science Crazed, a movie that a lot of people love.
Oh gosh, this cover. We have this.
Oh, the cover.
in the
This cover is a million times more interesting than anything in the movie. But if you do want to watch a
lives
movie,
in my head rent free.
if you do want to watch a movie where there's like 5 to 20 minutes of just footage of a public swimming pool, and then like another 80 minutes of a guy shuffling down a hallway mumbling, Science Crazed is your movie. But the great book. They're doing good work. So pick this up if you find this and it's new from Fantagraphics. Pick up Bleeding Skull, a 1990s Trash horror odyssey.
My last one is a book called The Monstrous Feminine by Barbara Creed, Film, Feminism, Psychoanalysis. It's a little heavier, kind of more of a like educational text. I got this book in my senior year of college when I was doing my synthesis on revenge horror. And this is like what really was like, oh my God, like this is my shit. Because the feminism and horror aspect that a lot of people talk about is like the final girl or the victim or things like that. And this book, what this book does is it talks about the woman as the monster, basically, in several different ways. So this book talks about the 7 different types of woman as monster: archaic mother, monstrous womb, vampire, witch, possessed body, monstrous mother, and castrator.
Wow.
If you're into feminism and horror film, this is like the best book ever. I was just kind of going through it again because I haven't picked it up off my bookshelf in a while, and I was like looking at parts that I had like highlighted and stuff, and it's just like, it's just great. It dives into a lot of like what makes like the woman's body othered and why that otherness is threatening to people and why that translates into women being seen as monstrous on film. So a lot of body horror stuff, a lot of menstruation stuff, like Carrie and things like that. There is some final girl stuff in there, but more of it as in the slasher as being the castrator, basically, like, you know, the knife's the penis, you guys, basically, you know. It is more of an academic text, but it is still like really easy to read, and it has a lot of good like references to horror movies throughout it, so it's not all like super dry. Also, the cover is really cool.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's striking.
Yes, and it has some images.
Okay.
Got some images in here. Yeah, it's a really good book. Monsters, Feminine, Film, Feminism, Psychoanalysis, Barbara Creed.
Cool.
Check it out.
One thing before we stop book club, I wanted to plug one other book that we have for sale here at the store, and it is Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
We're selling that.
Yeah, so if you're in the store, if you want to pick up a copy of Tarantino's book adaptation of his movie, which I just finally finished last week, and it's
Can I hold it?
It's actually
It's so cute and chunky.
it's actually
I really like the size.
it's a great movie, but it's actually it's a lot, you know, it's a lot different from the movie. So if you've seen the movie, you like the movie, it's worth checking out because it kind of is like, it's a more like less of an adaptation, more a straight adaptation, and more of like a weird bonus like a book length bonus material.
Is it a reimagining?
Not really. It's not a reimagining or a remake. Reimaginings are for cowards.
This is Kevin's stance on reimaginings, and I'm gonna constantly bring them up.
It's worth checking out if you're a big fan of the stuff, and it's got a lot of fun extra stuff about Cliff Booth and Rick Dalton and Sharon Tate and all the.
And just look how little and cute it is.
It's a cool little, and it's got these cool ads in the back too that are like. As if the book came out in like the 70s, so it's like as if this was a paperback from the time. So it's like ads for books that were out of time. The novelization of Serpico, the sequel to Love Story. What's the other one here? Switch, this Elmore Leonard book, The Switch, and then the book that Rick Dalton is reading on set in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Damn.
Anyway, it's a cool package. Anyway. All right, that means it's time to start.
You know what that sound means.
Since it's Halloween time, we have some. I think we both have some kind of Halloween picks.
Yeah.
My first pick is not a horror movie in any way, but it is the second movie by a famous horror director, and it is Don Coscarelli's Kenny and Company.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah. Oh, good.
I love this.
Oh my God, the cover though. Yikes.
Kenny and Company is, I can't remember the name of the first movie he'd made, but it's a movie that has never been available on video, so it doesn't matter. But this was the movie Don Coscarelli made before Phantasm.
Okay.
And it has some of the same actors in it as Phantasm. Michael Baldwin, who plays Michael in Phantasm, and Reggie Bannister, who plays Reggie Bannister in all of the Phantasms,
Phantasm is the best.
are both in this movie. And Kenny and Company is basically a coming-of-age movie about this kid named Kenny, his friend, played by Michael Baldwin. Is it their little brother or their weird? Is it his little brother or his weird friend? Because they have the weird friend, right? I haven't watched this. I haven't watched this in a second, but it's really good. But yeah, it's a coming of age story, and it takes place around Halloween. So there is a whole sequence where there's like this haunted house, and there's like a monster, and there's kind of this haunted house thing. Kind of, you watch it and you kind of see like, oh, he's kind of he's doing a little bit of a horror movie within this coming of age movie kind of thing. You know, it's like not an actual horror movie, but there's some stuff in there where you go like, oh, you can see the seeds for Phantasm in this very sweet coming of age movie that's just about this kid, and he goes to school, he has a crush on this girl.
I guess because I really like you.
Oh, no. Now you did it. She knows.
I like you too. You do? Mm-hmm. Wow.
His dog at one point gets sick. It's very sad. It's just a very sweet, like gentle, fun movie from like, you know, the 70s that's about this kid growing up. And yeah, it's on the back you see like little pumpkin things because it's all in the fall,
back
you know.
The description is so wholesome. Can I just real quick?
Yeah.
It's a world of best friends and neighborhood bullies, cherry bombs and skateboards, learning the facts of life and understanding the pain of loss, having a crush on the prettiest girl in school, and getting ready for the greatest night of the year, Halloween.
Yep. And that's what it is. It's kind of just like it's just a heartfelt movie about being a kid and how being a kid sometimes is hard, but sometimes it's really great. And then it's Halloween, and isn't Halloween fun?
Greatest night of the year, baby.
You know, there's skateboarding and stuff. I don't know like what the like. There's not, you know, it's
it
not
just
like
sounds like it's good vibes.
It's kind of just a chill movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, it's good if you like Phantasm. This is totally a movie worth checking out because it's like you don't see all the, you know, obviously Phantasm is a horror movie, but Phantasm also has the element of it being about, you know, this kid and his brother and stuff, and you know, sort of there's
and
like hangout
just, like,
stuff.
Middle-aged BFFs.
Exactly. Yeah. And this has a cool like special feature on it where they talk about the movie. And one of the funny things is this movie came out in America. You know, didn't do any business. It kind of was released and did. I think it probably was released a little bit. And who really knows about it? You haven't heard of it.
No.
So nobody really knew about it. But like in the special feature, they talk about that. The thing I remember is they talk about how it was huge in Japan.
Oh,
and
crazy.
so they went to Japan, and like the kid Michael Baldwin who's also in Phantasm went there, you know, with this, and they were all like, oh, and he was like, you know, he was a kid back then.
He was
like, what is going on? This is crazy. I'm a star over here. Weird, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It's that's it. Just Kenny and Company. Check it out. It's a good. It's you know, like I said, there's Halloween stuff in it. It's not a horror movie, but it's a perfect movie for this season. It's like a fall movie. It does have like a whole Halloween part.
Would you say it's more on the treat side of Trick or Treat?
Absolutely. This is Kenny and Company, 100% a treat.
Nice. This one's a little more of a trick.
Oh.
This movie is called Helter Skelter. Not the made-for-TV Manson family movie.
Right.
Nothing to do with the Manson family. This movie, oh my God, like, where are my notes?
Seriously.
Who am I? Excuse me, you guys. Embarrassing. So 2012, directed by Mika Ninagawa. This is based off of a manga from 1995, 1996. It came out serialized, called Helter Skelter of the same name, and it stars Erica Sawajiri as this it girl. She's like model, actress, singer. Everyone wants to be her. She's so beautiful. Her name's Lilico, and it turns out she has gotten like a bunch of different plastic surgeries on her face and body to make herself just like the epitome of beauty. And so all these teenage girls are obsessed with her. She's like dating the hottest guys. She's getting all the jobs. She's just like the it girl of the moment. And then it turns out she like sees some like weird bruising on her face, and it turns out that her surgery is starting to like crumble and decay on her body, basically. And it turns out the place she got the surgery, you have to get it like every couple years, or else you're just basically going to rot. And that's how they're then taking advantage of all these like young women in the industry who can't afford to keep up with the surgeries. So there's this detectives, this movie's like over 2 hours long too, it's a whole epic. There's these detectives who are investigating these series of like suicides, relating to this plastic surgery hospital who's doing all these like underground like like organ transplants to do all this plastic surgery to make women as beautiful as Lilico. Wow. And as she begins not to be able to keep up with this plastic surgery, her body starts crumbling as well as her mind, and she starts losing her shit basically. She starts going insane. She starts obsessing over her age, and she's seeing all these younger girls. I mean, she's only like 28, but she's seeing all these like younger girls with a more natural beauty kind of become her rivals. And she starts scheming and plotting and sabotaging, and ends up sabotaging maybe her own life a little bit more. It comes to a very violent, fucked up end, basically. I really want to read the manga it's based off of. It's like a horror manga that came out in the 90s. Like I said, I think I'm going to try to order that if it's available somewhere. But I was really blown away by this movie. It's the theme of a bunch of stuff that we've seen before. But if you think about it, like 2012 was kind of a little early for all this like influencer obsession. It was kind of the start of it. Also, like every shot in this movie is filmed beautifully, like super vivid colors, and like it all looks like an editorial shoot basically, which I think is kind of the point. So yeah, I've been waiting. This movie's been on my list for a really long time. I think it must have just come out on Blu-ray, because I think I check to see if we have it every year, and like this is like the first year I saw that we had it or something, and it's only on Blu-ray. But yeah,
cool.
Check out Helter Skelter. It's a wild ride.
So my next pick is one of my favorite slasher films of all time, and it actually falls into a category that one of the categories I picked about what was the one called? What was it?
The job one.
Department of Industry and Labor, the one about a job, and it is Intruder. From 1989, and it all takes place in one night at a grocery store that has been recently bought by some different owners, and so the staff finds out that night, and they're all kind of, it's like a cool like hangout job, and they find out from their bosses like, hey, the place got sold, so unfortunately, you're all losing their job. But it's not like a thing in the movie. It's not a thing where they go like, you're all fired, and the people are like mad. They're like, that sucks. We all like it here, but and they're all gonna. But it's like, so now they have to like basically they're gonna inventory everything that night, and so they're all gonna kind of work over. They're gonna work the graveyard shift, and they're gonna inventory all the shit from in the store, and then a slasher movie happens. And like it's pretty basic. Like it's like people are getting picked off here and there.
The setting makes it really fun though, being in a grocery store.
And the setting's really cool. And the other thing that makes it stand out for me is that it's directed by this guy Scott Spiegel, who's a dude who is buddies with like Sam Raimi, and Sam Raimi's in this, Ted Raimi's in it, Bruce Campbell has a tiny part in it too. So all those Evil Dead dudes are in it, and Scott Spiegel worked on Evil Dead 2 with Sam Raimi. They also made another movie between Evil Dead 2 and this, or maybe right before Evil Dead 2, called Thou Shalt Not Kill Except, where Sam Raimi plays like a cult leader, which you should also check out. And Scott Spiegel didn't direct that one, but he like worked on that too. And it was all the kind of, it's this whole sort of like, all those the same crew from Evil Dead until like this movie basically. Scott Spiegel's direction, and he's made a handful of movies. From Dusk Till Dawn 2 also is pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, but his one of the things that he does, that like one of his trademarks that I love, and he does it all the time in this, is like these POV shots. And it's not like a POV shot of a killer, you know. We've all seen that in a movie, right? Like the the Michael Myers POV shot or whatever. This is like a POV shot of a shopping cart, or a POV shot of a fucking rotary phone, where it's like somebody dialing the phone, and they've built this phone thing, and there's tons of that. Plus the other cool thing about this movie is that it was the first movie that K&B did the effects for officially. Like K&B, the guys that formed K&B effects had worked on the Evil Dead movies before this. But this was the first one that was like K&B doing all the effects, and they were like, we need to really show people we can do some cool gore effects, and man, are there some awesome fucking kills in this. And it's in a grocery store, so they're using all the apparatus.
That's what I love about this movie, is the setting and how they use it.
And so like it's just like I said, the plot itself is sort of like a slasher film, like at a grocery store. And there's this group of people, and they're all getting kind of picked off. And then, it's the same thing as that, like which one of them is the killer, and there's a mystery and there's twists and stuff. But like it's the way it's done. It's like this sort of over the top style, and then just the K&B like
effects,
slasher gore effects are just awesome. And it has a great ending too. I'm not gonna post it or spoil or anything, but it's got like a really cool. I don't know. I think it just has like it's got a cool energy, and I dig it. And it's really fun the whole time. And while also people are getting their heads sawed in half by like meat slicers and stuff. Very realistic looking heads. Yeah, you
could also use this one for the decapitation.
Absolutely.
Tagline for this movie, you guys know I love the taglines. Tonight, this supermarket is having a sale. All heads half off.
Oh man, everybody find Intruder.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
So the movie I'm going to talk about is called, it's way down here. It's called Borgman. This movie's from the Netherlands, 2013, directed by Alex van Warmerdam.
Sounds right to me.
Cool. This movie is a little creepy one. Have you seen it?
I haven't, no.
Okay, this movie basically, this guy who is a houseless guy living in the woods, looks all disheveled and stuff. He shows up at, this would be another good one for showing up at someone's door in the Psycho Challenge. He shows up at this rich family's doorstep because he's kind of avoiding the police, and he is insisting that he knows the woman from when she worked in the hospital. And she's like, I don't know you, what are you talking about? Eventually her husband is like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And beats him up. So he runs back into the woods behind the house. The wife feels bad and secretly lets him stay in their shed in the backyard. Eventually he's like, let me just be your gardener, and he like shaves and like makes himself unrecognizable to the husband. And so the wife is like, okay, you can be our gardener, I'll pay you, and you can live in this shed, and now I feel better because I feel like, my husband didn't have to beat the shit out of you. So basically he starts living with this family, being their gardener, and then it's revealed, you watch the movie and it's slowly revealed that he has this kind of like group of con men friends that he slowly has work with him on the house, and they kind of take over the house in kind of a Parasite movie way, where they each take on a job in the house. And he can also control dreams.
Okay.
So he's starting to make, he's starting to really heighten the tension in the household between the husband and wife, and making the wife start to resent the husband. And the husband's not that good of a dude in the first place, so it's not that hard. And she's starting to fall in love with Borgman.
Wow, okay.
And then they're also like hypnotizing the kids and stuff, and it's all very strange and slow-paced and dreamy. And this familial tension that he causes ends up exploding basically at the end, where him and his con team all move very precisely into a finale that I'm not going to tell you what happens, but basically calculated, creepy. It reminds me, gives me some like Dogtooth vibes, some Lanthimos stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Cool.
it's a slow takeover psychological movie that it will really get under your skin. I think it's a good one for this autumnal season. Borgman.
Nice.
Check it out.
All right, it's time.
Who let the dogs out? Just kidding. What if that's what played before our dog movies? We did. We let the dogs out. Our dog movie this episode is
Sam Fuller's
White
Dog. It was one that's been on our list for a while, but
Yeah,
we didn't do it right away.
We didn't do it right away because I feel like we both had just watched it
Yeah.
right before we started a year ago.
Yeah, I love this movie. It might be my favorite Sam Fuller movie too.
I've only seen Naked Kiss and Shot Quarter,
Okay.
and
this.
I loved those. So
Yeah, I think this one I love the most because it's kind of almost an uncomfortable mix of that like B movie stuff, but also his like socio-political agitprop kind of stuff.
it's like
I don't know,
exploitation
it's like-
without being super exploity.
Yeah, but it's like cool, but it's also in the 80s, so it like is weirdly blunt, so it feels like an older.
Yeah,
it
so
feels
this
like
came
a
out
movie
in
from before.
83.
Yeah.
Stars Christy McNichol, who was in Little Darlings, which I still haven't watched, you guys.
Really?
I know I would love it. I'm so sorry. Julie, played by Christy McNichol, is a Hollywood actress. She lives in the Hollywood Hills. She is, she's not super successful. She's going on a lot of auditions. The movie basically opens with her hitting this dog
Yep.
in the middle of the night, and she runs over, the dog's hurt, and she takes the dog to the vet. And the vet is basically like,
They're dicks to her.
yeah, they're like, so I know you probably don't want to pay for this dog, but like you
Yeah.
brought it in, so you have to pay. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. I brought the dog in to
Yeah.
the vet. So you're gonna take the dog home with you. And she's like, okay, so I'm gonna take the dog home. And they're like, yeah, or you can board him here for like $30 or something. And they like keep like basically
Yeah.
trying to get money out of her, and also like at the same time expecting her not to be able to pay when she's like, no, I'm gonna like. And then they're like, you better put up posters and ask for a reward. They're weirdly like pushy and persistent.
I love it because it like does a lot of setup. Plus, it also sets up her character, which is that she's a good person
and kind of naive.
and naive.
Yeah.
Like in her, I mean, a lot of the arc of this movie is like her sort of learning, like, man, the world is fucked up.
Yeah.
And she hadn't like thought about it before, and which
Right.
is reflected in like white people learning about racism.
And privilege
Kind
and all
of,
of that.
it's like a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So she takes this beautiful all-white German Shepherd, beautiful dog, home with her to her house in the hills, which is also a really gorgeous house. Like they
cool
show
house.
a lot of the view out that window. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, like even maybe in 83, 82, 83, you could afford to live
As
there.
a struggling actress who just moved to Hollywood, yeah, right. So she has this boyfriend that comes over and is like, "Yeah, you should keep the dog because you're alone. Like, I don't live with you. You won't let me move in." So you can tell that she's like trying to be independent and kind of be on her own. And she's like, "Okay, maybe I will keep this dog. Maybe he'll protect me." And
Yeah.
he does. There's
Yeah.
a prowler that comes in, and it takes him a while to wake up from his little dog nap.
Well, there's a war movie playing loudly
Really
in
loud,
the background.
yeah.
Like she fell asleep and left that movie on or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He's like, the dog can't hear the attacker until like the movie goes, like the station goes off the air.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And
there's a funny line.
There's a funny line.
It's a weird line. It's like not supposed to be funny, but it's very
no.
it's
you hear
very...
the background. One of the police officers say, it's the same damn rapist I nailed last year. And you're like, fuck.
Which also, though, I guess is like, you know, it's funny because it's like it's very blunt.
Yeah.
It's funny, the delivery. The line itself isn't funny because what it's implying is also that like
he was going to rape her.
Or that like
it's implying.
Well, he was going to rape her, but also that like this is the same guy I busted last year. Who's not in jail or whatever?
Exactly.
Like he just is, you know, whatever. You know, like I've arrested this guy for doing this before.
Same damn rapist I nailed last year. Okay, we'll read your rights.
There's a lot of scenes where it's like it's showing how vulnerable she's letting herself be around this dog, which I think is important because later you see how opposite the dog is around certain people.
Well, the dog escapes at one point.
Yeah.
He he gets out and he wanders off, and she tries to find him, but she's like, I can't find him. Oh well, you know, we'll see what happens. And then while he's out at night, there's like a black
trucker.
Yeah, he's like street cleaner guy. He's driving one of the street cleaner trucks, I think. And the dog sees him
and just jumps into the truck.
Jumps in the truck and attacks him and kills him.
And the guy crashes into a store.
Yeah.
Because he seems so sweet and like gentle with her before.
Right.
And then he comes home covered in blood, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy that you're home. Okay, you look like a mess. You get in a fight," even though he's covered in human blood.
I mean, you know, in her defense, she's not gonna know.
You wouldn't assume.
She knows he went out. He ran off into the hills, and so it's like, oh no, you got in a fight, and you like.
Would you like hug and rub your face in a dog covered in blood?
Probably not.
No. So she brings him to work with her. She gets this gig with another actress who is a black woman. The dog doesn't kill her, but puts her in the hospital. So her boyfriend's like, okay, I was for you having this dog at the beginning, but he's an attack dog. Like he attacked your coworker. She didn't do anything. Like, we need to put this dog down. It's not safe. He's growling at me right now. She's like, well, is there a way to fix this dog? Because, you know, she's like you said, she's fallen for this dog. She's like, we need to find a way to fix. I'm not going to put this dog to sleep. Like, she's a caring, if like we said, if not a little naive girl who wants to fix this dog.
She takes him to a place.
Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark. She brings him there, the dog there, and there's this great scene with Burl Ives, who plays Carruthers.
Yeah.
It was just awesome.
Burl Ives
Allegedly, was like couldn't remember his lines, and so the producer like had cue cards he was holding up. And the first scene where he's introduced is like a really long scene where he's talking a lot.
Yeah. Was he just trying to fill up space because he couldn't remember shit?
They ended up having to cut, but I think
that's
originally
like what
Sam
I do
Fuller's
on the show. And you have to cut.
Originally Sam Fuller's idea was that he would do that whole speech, you know, in one, but Burl Ives was you know, not totally with it, but he's great.
It makes it feels naturalistic.
Well, he's got this dartboard, he's got this R2D2 standee that he's like throwing darts at, and he's like, they're all just robots and stuff.
Over 40 years of training animals for the movies, and it's come down to putting us in storage for a piece of tin with blinking red lights. Are you married?
No.
Any children?
No.
When you do have them, by the time they're 25, there won't be any animals.
Tells this whole story about this scene with rattlesnakes in True Grit.
Oh, yeah.
And how
He's like...
That's the hand that did it. That's the hand that helped Duke win the Oscar.
He realizes that the dog's an attack dog, and he tells a story about a friend who had a German Shepherd that was an attack dog that he loved for years, and then one day turned on him, and he's like, you got to put that dog down, because there's no...
It gets all like grave and solemn.
There's no turning that dog back into a regular
dog.
There's
no curing it.
You can't cure that training.
The dog sees a worker outside.
Who's black.
Who's a black guy, and... While that's happening, this other guy is walking up, Keys.
Which is a great shot because it zooms in on the Keys. Keys, here he is. It's so good.
They get that dog under control, and Keys is like, I know what this is. This is a white dog. And she's like, yeah, it's a white dog. Look at the dog. It's white. And he's like, no. Like, that means that these dogs were, you know, back in the olden days, which wasn't even that long ago, these dogs were trained to chase runaway slaves, and then later runaway convicts, black convicts,
and then just
black people in general. And she's like, well, how does that even happen? These are dogs, like, they don't know, like, being racist. And they're like, she figures whoever had her dog, which remains unnamed throughout the entire movie, abused it in a certain way to where it learned to attack black people.
So then the rest of
So she's like, well, fuck. Yeah. You know? Because she's like, I love this dog. Like, there must be a way.
Can we fix this? And like, Carruthers is like, no, you can't fix this dog. He actually is like, there was a guy, but he's probably dead now.
Yeah, Carruthers is like very grave. He's like, you gotta kill. Like, they're all, almost all of them are like, you gotta shoot this dog.
Yeah. And Keys is like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cure this dog. And
he stares at him and he goes,
he takes it upon himself.
5 weeks. If I don't break this dog in 5 weeks, I will shoot this dog in 5 weeks.
Yeah. So the rest of the movie is kind of a lot of it's like Keys and this dog, and it's him training this dog to trying to retrain or untrain this dog's
He's basically
racism.
trying to like break down this dog. What he said, like, there's a bunch of scenes where he's in this like you guys know, like, when you watch wrestling, like the cage matches.
It's like a Thunderdome.
It's like a Thunderdome. And he's like wearing all these like pads and stuff, and at first the dog's wearing a muzzle, and then eventually they take the muzzle off, but he's still wearing the pads, and he's like, basically, I'm gonna wear down the dog until the dog's like fucking just tired of me. And she's like, oh, and then the dog will be cured. And he's like, no. Like, no. Then we're gonna start training the dog. Yeah. We're gonna start deprogramming, basically.
The dog will just be tired then.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm getting there. So the dog does escape from the Thunderdome. He fucking like Ted Bundy's himself out of the hole in the ceiling, and escapes, because that's how Ted Bundy escaped from the jail.
True.
He got out of the hole in the ceiling. He like shimmies out, and then he sees that, okay, this dog sees there's an electric fence, and he's like, oh, that's gonna electrocute me because I'm super smart for some reason.
Well, he's trying to climb the fence, and then he hides from them.
And so he jumps onto the truck and then jumps over the electric fence, and it triggers it a little bit. And meanwhile, Keys is like, basically like, that son of a bitch, like, escape. He's not surprised.
It's a pretty fun scene, actually, where the dog is trying to escape in a movie that's very serious because of its subject matters. Because there's a shot where the fucking dog runs past this elephant, and you're like, did that dog just run past an elephant? But also then you're like, when the dog is escaping, you're like, this is not good.
There's one particular scene that I remember from when I first watched it too, like, still is very like, fuck, you know, where the dog has escaped, he's picking around the garbage, you see him on this corner, and you see around the corner this little black boy with a red ball or a red balloon or something. As the dog rounds the corner, the mom picks the kid up and goes inside at the very last second, so they miss each other by seconds. And it's like, it's one of the most, like, your heart stops in that scene. Yeah. You're held in this certain moment where you're like, can this dog be cured? Can he, or is this something that's permanent? Can I trust him? Can I not?
Right. And also, like, all of those scenes where there isn't dialogue is like amplified by this great Ennio Morricone score.
Yeah, Morricone scored it. Amazing.
But like, while he's escaped, he does kill a guy in a church.
Yeah, that.
So you know, also pretty heavy-handed, but you know.
The guy runs to a church to escape, and he follows him in, and it keeps like it takes a shot at the stained glass window where I believe it's like St. Francis or something in the animals, and there's a white dog underneath him, and it's really ugh. Keys pulls up in his van, and he shoots the dog with a tranquilizer, puts him in his van, and then is like bracing himself to enter the church where he sees the dead guy all bloody on the ground.
He decides to I'm not gonna just kill the dog, and then she shows up and she's like, "What?
Why didn't you kill the dog?
Why don't you kill the dog?" And he's like, "We can teach the dog. I can do this." Like, and now it's become sort of this obsession for him. If I don't, there's gonna be another dog. If I kill this dog, there's gonna be another dog, and it's gonna keep happening. And I need to
I need to cure something. We need to find, basically, it's his personal fucking journey
It's become
now.
a quest for him now to do this. While at the
there's
same
this
time
weird-
going like that this dog, we know this dog did this.
And now they're all in on it together.
Yeah.
So they're eating, there's that scene where they're all eating dinner.
Thank you. These smell good.
While it's hot.
Sour cream. Love it.
Fattening.
It feels kind of out of place. They're all eating dinner, and Burl Ives is like, oh, I love sour cream. And he piles sour cream onto
This is because they're
his...
eating baked potatoes.
Yeah, which, I mean, I like sour cream on my baked potatoes, but he literally just piles it on its own on his plate. It's kind of weird.
Seems ad-libbed. Like
It
was
does,
just
because
like,
then she's like fattening. And it's like really strange. You can tell they're like, okay, we're all in this together now. This kind of is scary and sketchy and probably not legal what we're doing, blah, 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 but we're committing to it. And then at that moment, a cop enters the house, and it's just like, hey, where's this street? And they're like, the street's down there, like, there's no light, you gonna turn? And I'm like all nervous. And then he's like, all right, have a great dinner.
Bye.
And then there's like tension, and then that's the scene.
he's this close.
Yeah. So
He's
he
this
is.
close to
He's super
curing the
close.
dog.
He's
to
super
curing
close. The dog is now eating cheeseburgers out of his hand, will not snap at him, still kind of growls. It's a little iffy, but Burl Ives is kind of pushing him to be like, he's cured, right? You cured him. And he's like, I don't know, I'm like 98, 99%. He's like, you cured him, call Julie. Come see. There's one last test. You gotta come see. She leaves her house and is confronted by a guy and his two creepy little daughters.
This scene is great and
it's so
weird
good.
and like, because she opens the door and it's just this fucking close up of this old man's face.
It's like a straw hat.
Hi.
Hello, Miss Sawyer.
Hi. I'm in a real big hurry. You'll have to excuse me.
Are you Julie? And she's like, yeah, but I gotta go. I can't I can't deal with like some weird old guy and his creepy shining twins right now.
That are dressed the
twin
same.
granddaughters, I think.
Yeah, granddaughters.
I would assume.
Yeah. One of the little daughters is like,
Where's my dog?
And this
she's
guy's
like, did you train this dog? And he's like, since he was a puppy.
Yep.
And she's like, you train him to be a white dog? And he's like, he like hesitates for a moment, and then he's like, the best out of the lot, which is like, whoo! And then she just fucking tears into him and calls him a bastard, throws the box of chocolates he had gotten for her, and is like, are you gonna train, she says, are you gonna train these two puppies? Like, calls his granddaughters his puppies. Are you gonna train them to be white dogs too?
You bastard!
You look here, young lady.
You sick son of a bitch! You got two puppies there. You gonna teach them to be as sick as you are? Do you know what your grandfather did to that dog? He turned that dog into a monster, a killer. Don't you let him turn you into monsters either. Don't listen to a damn word he says about anything. Not a damn word.
Such a good kind of bone-chilling scene.
Yeah.
And then she just leaves him there and gets in her car and tears off.
Yeah.
Because she's like, you were a fucking asshole for doing this, and no, I'm not. He's like, I'm gonna call the police. She's like, call the fucking police. I'll say what you did.
Yeah, I don't know how much, obviously what like.
But I admire her, her confidence.
Yeah, and it's a great scene for a movie.
Yeah, then she just like tears off down through the Hollywood Hills, and it's like, fuck yeah, girl. Seeing her go from being like naive and really like vulnerable, and then like, oh, like I don't really know, like he's a dog, blah blah blah, to being like angry about it because she knows the reality and she can put a face now behind it and understand. It was really a moment.
Now she drives off to the climax.
For the final test.
Good,
Jesus
come
like,
at
all right,
me.
get a running start at me, dog. And the shots of this dog running close-up slow-mo of this dog's teeth, his lips are like so far up and his huge white teeth are just glaring and his tongue is just like so far out, just like.
And I can't stress enough how much there is a score by Ennio Morricone also going on.
Yeah.
While the dog is like slow-mo running at the camera, and it's just
so intense. You hold your breath.
Oof.
And he's running from across the Thunderdome, and then he like stops, and then he's just chill.
Yep.
He's chill. And then Julie's like, oh, fuck yeah. And then the dog looks at Julie and looks kind of crazy for a second. You think he's going to attack Julie, but then he stops and he's chill.
there's this great 360 pan around them, and you don't see the dog's face, and then it pans around her, and then it gets back to the dog, and he's like snarling again. Breaks free from her, and he runs after Burl Ives and attacks him. And Keyes has to shoot him.
He shoots him.
And
then maybe the most like upsetting final shot in a lot of movies.
Certainly out of the dog movies that we've done on here,
yeah,
it's the most upsetting final shot.
It just shows the dog's dead body. His face is still in a snarl with his tongue out, but he's dead behind the eyes, and it just kind of like it starts real close on him, and it just like slowly zooms out without losing the focus of him. And it's just like I had to like stop watching because I was like, I can't keep looking at this dog.
It's harsh.
This dead dog.
In the original novel, the Romain Gary novel, the trainer trains him on purpose to kill white people.
Yeah.
But Sam Fuller didn't like that because I think he was more. He
wanted to be
more hopeful. He wanted to be more. He was more optimistic, and he wanted it to be. And I think that this is.
He wanted the Keyes character to want to fix him.
To want to cure that. Yeah. He's not trained him to attack white people, and it's more ambiguous as to what happened exactly.
Yeah.
He's
what he
not
cured, what can't be cured, where the hate lives, and what triggers the hate.
Yeah,
and it's like
it's a much more. I think it's a much more powerful way to end it, but it's more cynical kind of.
But it's also like that's kind of real.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's kind of like well, he cured. Maybe he stopped him from hating this one type of person, but like that hate that had been trained into him is still there, and he doesn't hate her because. So he doesn't kill her. He doesn't like.
But it's like But it's also like he loves her, but he also has like decided that she's the one he'll protect too.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. But it's really chilling ending, and again, it's got this Morricone score over that, and just.
Yeah. This movie was.
It's not as fun as like Benji the Hunted.
It's not fun, but it's really, really good. It was screened a few places. It was actually the first preview screening was in Seattle. Mm-hmm. And then
the studio buried it.
Yeah, they were like, we have to shelve this, and no one saw it in the United States, at least.
And
they were worried about it like causing shit, right?
Yeah, and
it's like stirring the pot.
During filmmaking, they had some representatives from the NAACP. Sam Fuller was not happy about this because he was not told that like the studio kind of did this behind his back. They were kind of like going like
to judge the representation of black people in the movie.
Just to judge like whether or not it should even be being made. Like one of the representatives was like this is good. Yeah, I like this movie, and the other one was like no. And Sam Fuller was like mad about it. And he banned them from the set, and so, well, then you shouldn't be able to make this movie. We're gonna, this is gonna be a whole disaster if you release this movie. And Paramount was like, oh fuck, we can't put. It was basically like became like this like Molotov cocktail, this fucking bomb that was gonna go off or whatever. Yeah. And so they became Paramount became real chickens about putting it out and stuff, which is sad.
Yeah,
because
it didn't get a release. It didn't get a video release until Criterion put out in 2008. So it's like that wasn't that long ago.
We had a tape here before the Criterion release.
Oh, right.
It was a Japanese VHS.
Oh, crazy!
Of White Dog.
Did it have a cool cover?
So that was the first time I saw it. Yeah, it was like this, but it was actually a picture of the dog, snarling or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was a Japanese VHS of White Dog. But yeah, I mean, when I last episode when I was looking for, I usually put like a clip of a trailer for our next dog movie, and there was no trailer for White Dog.
Oh, really?
Because it was never officially released.
It was never promoted.
So it was never promoted. Because when they did release it, they dumped it in a few theaters, didn't promote it at all, and it died. And they went like, well, it didn't do any business, and they put it on the shelf.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
But it's still only on this DVD. It hasn't been released on Blu-ray. It's not on Criterion Channel or anything.
Then.
Right? This should totally be on Blu-ray.
Oh, totally. Totally. If it's on, I feel like Criterion will get to it.
Yeah.
Right. Before Sam Fuller, they were gonna get Polanski to direct too.
Back in the 70s.
And then they're like, oh fuck.
No, Polanski was going to direct it, and then he
rapist.
fled. Then he fled to France.
Yeah, where he's
where
still.
he's still.
And then I guess when Paramount, this is all like trivia, it's all mine, but like when Paramount wanted, was like hearing about this movie, they pitched it as wanting it to be Jaws with paws. The dog, the unnamed white dog, was played by 5 white German Shepherd dogs. Oh. I thought I was going to get that without you knowing. Good, I didn't
No,
look
I
at
had
the
to look it
inside.
up, but I knew.
The names of those dogs were Sun, Hans, Duke, Folsom, and Buster.
Yeah, and Hans and Folsom were the actor dogs.
You could tell some dogs are a little fluffier than
They
others.
were the ones that were like the dogs that were doing all the like acting scenes, and then the rest of them were generally for the training scenes and stuff.
How
and
do you
like
think, I don't know if you saw any, because I watched like one extra on the disc, but I didn't really deep dive. How do you think, and this could go with any of the dog movies we watched, especially in this one though, when the dog like really is growling and he's like really baring its teeth and like looks ready to attack, like how do they train dogs to do that?
I don't know.
Because it's like they look so mad and mean, but it's like, how does this dog honestly look like he's going to kill someone? Which like the scenes of this dog like baring its fucking teeth are like so intense.
They like to train them too. When I have this thing, then you go "Arr," and you get mad. You get mad or whatever. I think it's something like that where
Should I train my new dog?
they're
to
not
do that?
actually mad. You should train your new dog.
Guys,
to
I'm
do
getting
that.
a dog. You'll see soon. She'll show up maybe. If she's cool. You see her being so tender. Like she gives a pill to this dog too. Like you see her being so gentle and also just like, like taking his snout in her hands and like giving him a pill and like just being so vulnerable around this dog. And then you see the flip side of the coin where he's like so vicious and like so opposite, and it's really startling.
And this was the last movie Sam Fuller made in
he got
America.
pissed and left.
Because he was so fed up, he was so frustrated by how he was treated and how the movie was treated that he moved to France and he never looked back.
Just like Roman Polanski.
Well, but not quite the same.
Just kidding.
I don't know if it's quite the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next movie is definitely, I would say it's probably not on the scale of this.
It probably
in
won't.
terms of quality, but we could be wrong.
Who knows? Oh, it probably won't be as good. It is a movie called Mongrel.
Mongrel makes the Hound of the Baskervilles look like a quiet day at Crufts. Life's bad enough for the misfits in a seedy Texas boarding house, but then even the dog turns on them and starts settling a few old scores.
I saw it! Nobody's in the cellar. How could he see anything in the cellar? He's right here in bed.
Well, we got to check.
It was horrible!
One by one, the lodgers meet their old pet. Only now, they're doing the begging.
Here, boy. Here, boy. Nice puppy.
Mongrel is sheer animal.
And as you can see, only on VHS.
Look at this guy. Look at this pup.
It is not going to be as good as this cover.
We'll find out if 3 heads are better than 1.
We didn't do ratings for White Dog.
Oh, I give it five paws.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, 5 paws. I give it 5 paws. Fuck it. Yeah, let's just do that. I mean, but Mongrel, we wait to see if we give it 3 dog heads. It is not going to be
I wish.
Cerberus, the original dog from hell.
But we do appreciate this cover. This is how you do a box art.
Oh my God, look at this fucking box art.
This is how you do
I don't know
it.
if you can see it over there. It is good. This is some good stuff.
So we'll be back keeping up with the spooky spirit of the month with Mongrel. What an episode.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground there.
We actually did cover a lot of ground. Thanks for watching our 25th episode, around our 1-year anniversary.
Season 2, I guess, starts now.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Season 2. You guys know it takes one full season to really find our footing. So
so
now we're gonna know what characters to play, what things we like to do.
Yep.
I don't know. Don't forget, October 16th is Video Store Day. Tune in on YouTube where you're at right now, or come into the store if you're around.
Yeah.
Show your Vax card or picture of it. We'll have a lot of cool things going on.
Yep. Drop by and say hi.
Yeah, bring us Baconators.
Definitely bring us some Baconators. We'll be hungry.
We'll need those Baconators.
For sure.
Email us, viva@scarecrow.com. Show us your Halloween costume, your pet's Halloween costume, especially if it's movie themed. Let us know what you're doing for the Psycho Challenge. Ask us for recommendations.
Yep.
Any questions about Scarecrow, things you want us to read on Video Store Day, if you send it before the 16th.
Yep. Check out Scarecrow Radio. Check out Soundtrack Cinema.
You guys, I just told Kevin Zoolander is a perfect movie, and he just said whatever. Anyways, check out all our links below. There's lots of cool stuff down there, and we thank you as always for watching and loving movies and loving Scarecrow.
And
Viva Physical
Media.
Goodbye.